This is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and we are just rolling along with our Char-Griller Smokin Pro here, cooking all the different things. Now, in the last video, we did some smoked cheese, just because I wanted to show you that it was not hard to do in a smoker. You can smoke cheese in a box if you want to. In this video, we're gonna do some ribs. Now, these are just regular pork short ribs, and we're gonna go ahead and get those going. First thing I wanna do is I wanna show you some pictures here. I took the ribs and I took them out of the package, trimmed off any loose flaps. I don't like to square them up too much because I don't wanna waste any meat. And then what I did was I removed as much of the silver skin as I could. I pushed a knife in to break it up along the back of one of the center bones. And then I used a paper towel and ripped up the silver skin. On this one, it was particularly difficult. Usually I don't have as much trouble with that. Usually I can put it in there and get a lot better separation. This one just kept breaking, so that's why I had to really rely on the paper towel to get a grip on that. After I was done with that, I lightly seasoned them with garlic and then my 3-2-1-1 spice mix rub. Now there's garlic in that, but when I'm doing pork, I always want to add more. If I wasn't doing keto, I would definitely add some brown sugar. And when I say some brown sugar, what I'm talking about is about a 50-50. Rather than adding garlic, what I would do is I would take about 3 tablespoons of the 3-2-1 mix, and then I would add in 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, mix it together thoroughly, and then spread it on the top. Now, I don't typically use a binder, but if I do, I prefer things like olive oil spray over mustard, but you can use mustard. Some people say you don't taste it. I taste it, but it's just such a subtle taste, and it really does go well with the ribs. So I wouldn't worry twice about it if you plan on using mustard binder. It's just fine for all pork products. I wouldn't do it on beef ever. Now, I went ahead and started a small fire in here, and it's burning up. And just for fun, I threw a chunk of wood in the back there to kind of keep some smoke going. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add another piece of lump charcoal to that. Put one right in here. Turn this one over a little bit so that way that one can get into the charcoals. That's kind of a small one. Let's get another. Oh, that'll be perfect. You get 2 small ones, put that one right there and kind of get them together. And then, of course, we can just blow on this. When it gets hotter, try not to get too close because it can singe you a little bit. What I like to do is I like to use a small yard blower, or even better yet, a hairdryer. If you blow through there with the lid closed, most of the ashes and the sparks will stay inside. And then we take a look, and it looks like it's burning a little bit. That helped a bit, but not a lot. We still need a little bit more. And you can see it spark here and there, which is part of the lump charcoal does that. So the goal is here to get it to a cooking temperature of 225. So first thing we do is going to go ahead and open this up, and you can see there's a nice little bit of smoke in there. And that mostly has to do with the fact that I put that chunk of wood in there. And that chunk of wood is hickory. The lump charcoal is oak. And I like to throw in some pecan chunks. So as I get going a little bit later, I'll probably throw in some of those. Let's go ahead and we'll grab the pork ribs and throw those on there. And here we have them laying on the cookie sheet here. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick them up by this short end here and set them on the grill mat. This grill mat is not quite big enough for this rack of ribs. If you wanted to do that, I would probably trim it up a little bit. I don't like to waste any of the ends. I would rather cook them and trim them off halfway through the cooking process and have a little snack. This is the back flap there of meat that I trimmed off, and I'm going to put that with the silver skin side down. And again, on that one, it's too hard to trim off that silver skin. So we'll just cook that through. So we've got it going now. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set our temperature. Now I did a tip last week where I showed how I use my thermometer probes to detect the temperature on the surface of the grill. And we're gonna go ahead and set that up right now. I'm gonna put this in just underneath right here. Not in the meat, and it's not touching the metal. And we'll go ahead and close the lid. That's the bottom probe. Turn her on. We'll give it a minute. It really hasn't heated up at all, but right now that thermometer is showing a temperature of 86 degrees. I'm going to unplug this one and just leave it out of our way while we're cooking here. We're already up to 88, and we do have smoke coming out like I was talking about before. We're going to slowly raise that temperature up. As long as the smoke is not like billowing white, then you're going to be okay. This smoke is a light color and it will be fine for the food and it won't make it bitter, but we do want to burn it a little bit hotter and a little bit cleaner than that. If we're doing a long cook, it's really important. And this cook is somewhere around 4 hours. So let's go ahead and we're just going to move on. This is not a 3-2-1 method. This is a traditional slow cook method at 225 target temperature. And the idea is that unless the ribs tighten up too much, that I don't plan on wrapping them. I like my meat a little bit firmer, and while that 3-2-1 method is really good for getting a softer rib, I think that if you do this, unless you're in trouble, I would probably just avoid using the foil for a more firm and actually a better bark taste too. I'm going to go ahead and let this roll and bring it up to temperature. And I'll keep an eye on it for the next 15-20 minutes real close. Unless I have something important to tell you about, then the next time that we'll talk will be 2 hours for me and 1 second for you. It has been just a little over 2 hours, and I'm going to go ahead and flip the rack of ribs. I really like to use these really long tongs here, and if you have to reach into the firebox, you can do that, and you don't have to worry about getting heated up. I have already flipped that strip cut, and I'm just about ready to take that off and have a little snack. And just keep in mind that the grill mat is only there to prevent the grill grates from getting really dirty. I'm going to move this in just a little bit now that we've backed that up just a little bit. And it is very hot, so you have to be careful with it. Now it'll sit right there and get a good temperature. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Let's see if we can get a look at it here. That is tasty, and I have just a little bit of the spice on it. Same mixture that I put in on the rack of ribs itself. When we come back, I'll be putting a little bit of sauce on there. I'm not going to sauce it up real heavy, just a light coat. And then as soon as that sets, we'll flip it again and it'll be done. Now, the internal temperature of the meat, I'm sure, is fine to eat, but we want it to break down a little bit and get a little softer. So that should be another hour, which will only be 1 second for you. So we're back, and I'm going to go ahead and flip the rib rack over. Certainly looks good here. Love the color. The smoker's running at 200 degrees. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little piece off the end here. My favorite part about doing this is that I get to just eat a little bit as I go. So we're going to get in here real close so you can see. Let's see that. Oh, nice color. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put on a light coat of barbecue sauce. It's just my favorite, no sugar added store brand. All right, and I just cut right into the edge of the bone, so I got to be careful. Get that bone and tendon piece. That was definitely tasty, and I got another little bite here for after I turn the camera off. So I'm going to add a little bit more fire to that, and I just want to set that up, so that'll be about maybe 15-20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most, depending on the temperature I can get out of this. And then I'll flip it and I'll sauce the other side, let that set up, and then we'll be done. Now you could throw it on the grill, but the nice thing about not wrapping it is you get the nice crust and you really don't need to grill it as long as the sauce does what you want. Since it's sugar-free sauce, it's not really going to caramelize. So there's no point in throwing it on the grill for that effect. All right, so that'll be 30 minutes for me and 1 second for you. So the barbecue sauce is completely set in. I got the temperature up to about 300 degrees. It might have been a few degrees higher than what I was targeting. But what I did was I added a couple of sticks in there and a couple of lumps of charcoal. The wood, the hickory sticks, they burn faster and hotter than the lump charcoal. So if you put a couple of those in and get them going, they will get the temperature to jump up real quick. Go ahead and we're gonna flip this around. I'm gonna try to keep it on this side. I get that end right off the edge there of the grill mat so I can cut on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and sauce this up. I can close that. And now I just want to wait about 15-20 minutes for that to finish setting up. That's the bottom side, and the top side is always more important to me. I want to show you this real close. We'll be back for me in about 15 or 20 minutes, and for you it'll be 1 second. Well, it's been a little more than 15 minutes and we're ready to go ahead and pull these ribs. I'm going to give you a look at this before I cut them. Now I'm going to slice a couple of bones out of the middle and give you a closer look. So I went ahead and sliced 2 of these bones right down the middle, and I want to go ahead and show them to you. So get really close here. They are still pretty hot. I want you to see that color, and you can see that it's nice and juicy. So even though I didn't wrap them, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the moisture content. And I don't mean to be redundant to drive this home, but I prefer the firmer meat myself. That is really good. The ribs are done perfectly. The smoke content, absolutely perfect. The right amount of garlic. It could have used a little bit more of the 3211 rub because the pepper is a little on the light side. And of course, just the light coat of the sugar-free barbecue sauce is perfect. So that is that. And we got dinner here. And this thing is cooling off now. She's down to about 200 degrees now. And we're just about out of charcoal there. So everything is working out excellently. And I'm really getting kind of the feel for it. So I understand exactly how much charcoal and wood and everything to put in to maintain a nice steady temperature. And that really makes a big difference when you're talking about drying out your meat, because if you way overshoot your temperature, that's when your meat's going to dry out most likely. If you're under, you're really mostly going to extend your cooking time as long as you're in a safe cooking range. But everything is turning out great. And I'm very happy with this, and mostly what I'm happy with is the taste. This is right up there with the Masterbuilt Gravity series with the charcoal hopper. That has excellent taste, and it's so easy to use. But this here, it's hard to argue with the taste on this thing. So next, we're getting ready to contemplate when it'll be time to do either a really large roast or go straight to the brisket. I'm gonna think about that a little bit, and I hope you come check out my next video with whatever large roast I decide to do. If you see anything you like in this video, there's affiliate links below. I will get compensated for that, but it won't cost you anything extra. And again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.